Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new series that we are going to be doing. I am on the Oblivious Monkey server at the current moment on the Feed the Beast pack for Minecraft, and I am here with my good friend of here, Fringe Monkey, who is the owner and creator of this pack that we are playing on. Now, if you are wondering what the heck this room is, basically this is all stuff that is added in by Feed the Beast, and the various mod packs that are within the Feed the Beast area. Now, if you know anything about Minecraft, you know that there's basic blocks like dirt and all that other stuff, which is still in the game. Didn't go anywhere. But what all these other mod packs have done, basically what they do is they increase and they add a whole, basically huge shit ton of blocks. Okay, so there's a bunch of different stuff that you would have never imagined or thought to ever be in Minecraft. So I'm going to let Fringe Monkey over here introduce himself real quick and let him say a little bit of things about his server.
Hey, what's going on, guys? We're sitting in here in the spawn room of the Oblivious Monkey server, and the big thing you'll notice is the Stargate in the middle. And like you said, this is all a custom mod pack that we've put together just for this server. He's going to dial up the Stargate, and we'll go show you our base.
So as you guys see, you literally look at the base address, which is right there. It's LZDDNBA. You hit that in on your keyboard, you hit enter, and then you get to watch this awesomeness. And it's literally kind of like one of those old phone dials where it goes to each one of the icons, locks it in, and then there it is. There it is. Look at that cool awesomeness. It's like all rippling and stuff. Oh my god, so cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and go in here.
You don't want to get caught in that little explosion.
Oh yeah,
you
when it first starts, it kills everything. It's not good. All right, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the home area of our base that we have created. So I'm going to go ahead and start this thing off by showing you where we first started. Now, this little house right here this little dirt house that you guys see, this is when we first saw this area. We're like, this area is flat. It's perfect. It's exactly what we want. This is the little house that I built to get us started. So I'm going to go down here real quick and just show you where we started from. Now, so there's, a couple chests. We got some Mistcraft worlds, which weren't here until later. And so this is basically the area that we started in. Our whole server was in this little area right here. And this was our mine down here. So basically, this is what we started at. So I just want you guys to see kind of what we started at. And now, let us go into what we have managed to accomplish in the short 5 or 6 days that we have been on the server. So we're going to start over here. We're going to start at our friend's mage tower that he managed to build. Now, as it loads in, you're going to see this thing is massive and very, very cool looking. He did a fantastic job on this. So the first mod pack that we're going to encounter here is Ars Magica. Now, a lot of the stuff that's in it is, it's inscription tables, so here's a bunch of spells that you're going to be able to craft. Here's the things that you need to craft it. An essence conduit, and here is an archmage podium for those of you who actually know a little bit about it. We'll go into further detail about that in later videos, but you'll realize what that is. So this is basically just the whole upper floor of this place, and each one of these levels is just an empty floor. We're still working on what we want to do with it. But as we go down here, I'm going to go down this way because it's much, much faster. I'm going to go into the stairs here. And as you can see, here's another area for Ars Magica. Thaumcraft. And so this is where, you get to create some stuff. This is basically what I was doing for a while. You just sit here and you can put different kinds of things. It has different essences and stuff on it. And you just try to figure out what you're trying to build. Obviously stuff we're going to be going over in later videos, but this one is just a video to kind of give you guys an overview of what's going on. So Wes, what do you think about this building? This building's pretty freaking crazy in my opinion.
Yeah, Cyphus did an incredible job with this. We got a lot to fill up here. There's, like you said, this is going to be for all the magic stuff. So Thaumcraft, we need to fill it up with golems, and the Ars Magica crafting we haven't really got into yet. There's a ton of stuff to go with there. We've been mostly focusing on the tech side of it now. There's the 2 magic mods, Ars Magica and Thaumcraft, add a whole different way you can play Minecraft. You can cast spells. You have a mana bar, which you'll see up at the top of the screen. Just basically, like I said, an entire different way to play Minecraft. It adds spells that allow you to dig, so you don't have to mine with a pickaxe. You can mine with your mana. Feed yourself, teleport, flying, just anything you can think of you can do via magic now. So, whole different tech tree to play with.
And like, if you guys like, just imagine how weird that kind of stuff is to play with. I mean, just look at Fringe Money. Look at the armor that he is wearing, and look at me. Like the amount of cool stuff that is added just because of these mods is it's insane. You go from blocks to being able to look like what we're looking in right now. And the armor that we're wearing is just absolutely ridiculous. It's the power armor. So obviously stuff that we will also be going in other videos. But for now, let's just continue with our tour of the Oblivious monkey starting area that we have managed to build. Now, this next building that we're going to go in is it's obviously based around lava. As you can see, it's all lava, kind of obsidian blocks and stuff like that. And as you can see over here, we have these things called thermal generators. Now, thermal generators are ran by lava, and this is how we actually initially got started off in our power. Now, I'm going to let Fringe Monkey explain a little bit more in depth about how we went about this and how we rely on it just to keep this area running.
So, incredibly enough, this house still powers our base, and just these two towers provides enough power for our actual base. Each one of these two towers holds 64 thermal generators, and they produce 15,000 EU a tick, which, if you know much about industrial craft, that's a significant amount of power. It more than powers our base plus our applied energistic server. The other two towers over here were powering our first matter fabricator, which allowed us to get enough UU matter to build our fusion reactor, which we'll be showing you in a minute. I'm going to do a detailed video over these towers because they're a very cheap way to get started in power. If we go down to the bottom here real quick, all that's required to make these things run is lava. We have a slightly complex system. It's all being pumped out of the nether and one Mistcraft world that we happen to spawn with lava lakes. So these tesseracts are pulling lava out of the pumps that are either in the nether or that world and just pumping it up into the thermal generators. So like I said, this is a great way to get started generating power. Very cheap. Thermal generators themselves are a very cheap block to build. As you can see, we have 256 of them up there, and that was way before we had any UU matter. So a great way to get started here.
Yep. So like you said, many a time, it's literally like when you guys are first off, trying to make those first couple of blocks, and you're trying to figure out how you're going to power. So I had a little bit of technical difficulties there, but we are back. So like we were saying, this is a great way to basically get yourself started with these thermal generators. They're really cheap. They're really easy to start. All they require is basically lava. So if you can find lava, you are basically good to go. So we're going to go over to the next power building over here, which is going to be our nuclear building. So this is basically just another way to get to power. So basically, you might want to start with thermal, then go to nuclear, then solar. So just a bunch of different ways that you can go from power to power. Now, each one of these reactor chambers, if I can click on it, there we go, has this basic setup in it with a bunch of uranium cells, overclocked heat vents, heat exchangers, stuff like that. And every single one of these is set up almost exactly the same, except for this one over here. And this one's a breeder. So I'm gonna let Fringe Monkey over here explain what exactly this nuclear reactor over here is going to do for all the other ones.
All right, so when the power generating reactors, the four that are identical there, actually burn up a uranium cell, there's a 1 in 4 chance that it leaves behind a depleted uranium cell. This reactor over here is called a breeder reactor, and it recharges those cells, which basically gives you, lets you get a little bit more out of your uranium, because uranium is a pretty rare resource, and there's only so much of it to be had.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really, really cool. It really helps us out. It's a really cool area of that. Do you have anything else to add?
I just want to point out all these reactors are fully automated. We'll show you the server in a minute, but they require no input from us. It automatically puts the uranium in it. This breeder automatically puts the depleted cells in and pulls them back out into their own self-contained network, which the server for which is right down here.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. We'll go a little bit more in depth about how these things work, but everything that we're going to show you requires almost no interaction from us. We can basically sit at something that looks kind of like this and have it do everything for us. So what's going to happen is we are going to, let's go to the next room. So we're going to go to what basically, what we're talking about. So this is the crafting room over here. This is where all the magic happens. So as you can see, we have, our blast furnace, we have our freezer over there, here's the implosion compressor, here's the grinder. So basically all this stuff that you can see on here, these export buses and stuff like that, we can basically let's go to here's my wireless access terminal that allows me to access the server wirelessly. So I can tell something that, so if I wanted this blast furnace to, start a job, and I didn't want to have to physically come over here, I could just go onto my wireless access terminal here and find an item that I would want and literally just queue it up, and it would automatically start going into the blast furnace and be crafted. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to show you the second level, and this is it's a little messed up right now because we just kind of had to throw machines at it because we're just waiting on machines almost constantly because of the amount of time that some of this stuff takes to craft. But as you can see, we have, our centrifuge, macerators, compressors, furnaces, all this stuff. The assembling machine, thank you, Greg Tech. Not. But yeah, here's all these machines. They're all hooked up and stuff like that. Our forestry stuff, thermal stuff, all that stuff is hooked up here. And so I'm going to show you kind of what it's like. So as you can see, some stuff's already crafting. And as you can see, I haven't touched anything this whole game. So let's see. So if I want, let's look at iron. So say if I want refined iron to be crafted. If you look in here, actually, I'm gonna have French Mike explain. So what do these ME interfaces do here?
All right, so the ME interface is basically how you teach an external machine how to talk to the network and how to build something. So like he's saying, he wants some refined iron. So he goes on his wireless access terminal and queues up some iron, say like 30 or 40 refined iron to cook. What's going to happen is the network's going to tell this ME interface, inside of it there's a pattern that says 1 iron equals 1 refined iron. And it's going to go ahead and spit some iron into the furnace, and it's going to cook it into refined iron, and then it's going to get sucked back out onto the network. So now he has however much refined iron he asked for is available for him to use for whatever else he needs it for.
And let me just say that this has beyond saved us. Now, you might think that all the stuff that we've created is a huge feat in itself. And while, yes, it is quite a lot that we have done, but we would not have been able to do a single thing of that. We would still be in the dinosaur age if it wasn't for this system. Because being able to just sit at a computer, even though we already are technically at a computer in game, and be able to tell it to craft whatever we wish and have it do it by itself without us having to physically do it is beyond amazing, and has saved us an immeasurable amount of time. Now, what we're going to do here, let's see, where we're going to go. We're going to go do the crafting actual area where, oh, actually, we're right next to the server. Let's go to the server next. So this is the server room. Now, each one of these, as you can see, here's the chamber, which holds all the patterns that we require to be built by the server, and it'll go into this chamber, and it will tell it what exactly it needs to build whatever else it needs. So as you can see, one generator requires 1 RE battery, 1 machine block, and 1 furnace. So it'll go through all 3 of those things, say, do I have this, do I have this, do I have this? And if so, it'll craft the generator. Now, I'm going to let our friend Fringe Monkey here kind of go into a little bit more detailed explanation about how exactly this works.
Alright, so all this server stuff is supplied by the mod Applied Energistics, and it's not a whole lot of blocks that the mod adds, but the functionality they add is incredible. The server itself is this big multi-block structure with the stripes down the side, and it's created with a few blocks. Inside there's actually CPUs, like a real computer, and there's pattern providers, which hold the crafting patterns that he was showing you. In front of that, the things that look like RAID arrays literally are RAID arrays. They hold hard drives. They're called ME storage units, but they work just like hard drives would in real life. They hold items. And the great thing about that is they're a very safe way to store your items, because in a chest, you could always have a creeper come into your base and blow that chest up. Now all your items are on the ground. If a creeper were to somehow get in this building and blow this up, all that would happen is these hard drives would pop out on the ground. And all the items that were stored in that hard drive are still in that hard drive. You just need to put it back in another RAID array, or even a regular an ME chest, and you'll see all the items that are contained on those drives. The other few blocks here, the very bottom is the controller, which is basically the central hub of the whole thing, and you need to supply that power. There's a power relay up in the ceiling taking power from our solar panels, and the other 2 are for the crafting. The very top block there is the wireless that allows our wireless access terminals to actually get on the network. The other thing I want to talk about in this room is this ender chest right here. Probably our favorite box. What it does is there's one of these boxes on top of all of our quarries, and they spit all the items they mine into this ender chest. And this import bus right next to it, pulls them all out, and sticks it right onto our network. So literally, as the quarries are mining, they're immediately dumping all the items directly onto our network. So automation to an incredible level. I can't imagine playing Minecraft without this applied energistics mod. The amount of time it saves, like Onelegend was talking about, is just incredible.
Yeah, no kidding, man. It really have. What about these deep storage units? What do these do?
Okay, so these deep storage units, each one of these bad boys holds 2 billion of one item. All right, so that's one item ID, say cobblestone or dirt. And what these ugly ones just hanging here off the server were the first iteration of that. We'll show you the storage building in a minute where we kind of evolved to. Um, we have these hooked up to the server with these storage buses, which actually allows two-way communication to the network. It allows them to see how much is stored in there and make it available to us on the network. And that allows us to get them off of those drives, which have a much more limited storage. The biggest drive that you can hold, it holds 63,000 items, which sounds like a lot. But if you look when he has our network open, we have, what, 3.5 million cobblestone,
Yeah,
600k
we have
dirt.
a pretty scary amount right now. Let's see what we're sitting at right now. We have 3,627,600.
Yeah. So that would take a whole wall of these RAID arrays filled with those expensive storage things. These deep storage units allow us to get all those high items off of there and into the storage units. And the storage buses on top are really what matters there. It allows, like I said, two-way communication. So it can actually see all the stuff stored inside of those boxes and make it available to us still on the network without it actually being stored in digital chips. Very convenient.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome setup that we have here, and everything that goes into it is just extremely crazy. All right, so let's go on to the next building. Here we got our basically our crafting building over here. Now this is where if we basically, like I was saying, basically sit behind a computer and tell it to craft things. Now this is where we come to do all of that. As you can see, it's the same setup as almost everywhere else. We have our crafting monitor up here. We have the MEC terminal right here, which has all this stuff in it. And we have our pattern encoder. So now you may be wondering, what is a pattern encoder? Now, what a pattern encoder does is it will take, so as you can see it's set up, we have a stick and a redstone sit here. And what does that create? It creates a redstone torch. Now, what it would do is if I had one, I would have a blank drive right here. And you know what, let's tell the server to make one. Let's see if we have it. Oh, we actually have one in there. What do you know? And I'm actually going to show you guys what it's like to see. So I'm going to tell it to build, let's say 5. I'm going to click begin. And look at that. 5 are just sitting there now. So that's just kind of shows you how amazing that this mod really is. So there you go. There's our blank patterns. I'm going to click encode. And here is our encoded pattern. Now, what this pattern does is if I were to take this pattern and I would put it in the server, which this ender box does, I'm going to put it in there. The ender chest is going to take it. It's going to go straight into the server. And if I were to go to redstone torches, here we go. I'm going to click, there it is. So now it's in the server and I can tell it to craft one. So there you go. It's crafted, it's done, and it's ready to be used. So that's basically what the pattern encoder is, and that's how we're able to tell the server to craft what we need. So every single one of these things that you see in here that says craft or has items is basically something that we have already told the server to build. So that's basically the hugest issue about getting started is telling the server what we need requires us to basically give it the materials and tell it how to do it. So that's a cool part in itself. There's our enchanting table. This is all the stuff that we needed for fusion. As you can see, it was a ridiculous amount. I mean, 120 advanced casings. Oh my god, that was not fun. Here is our power armor tinker table, which the armor that you can see. Let me show you guys. This is the armor. The one that me and Fringe Monkey are wearing is basically the power armor. Basically step below grav suits or something like that. And what these allow us to do is go in and individually modify each kind of piece of it. So as you can see, I have the energy shield upgrade in, and this allows me to change the field strength and armor, and here's, you know, batteries, and basically a whole bunch of stuff that most other things would never even think about doing in this game. It allows you to run super quick. I mean, look at that. I'm just hauling butt right now. So over here, we have our Tinker's Construct area. Now I'm going to let Fringe Monkey explain what the heck this even is.
All right, so Tinker's Construct is kind of like the Tinker Table he was just showing you, except it's specifically for tools. It allows you to make custom tools, pickaxes, shovels, whatever, regular Minecraft tools that you would think about. And the big structure in front of you that has a little liquid blue at the bottom is actually the smeltery, and it smelts ores directly into liquid form and allows you to make a cast of that. So if we come over here to the ingot, there's some liquid cobalt in there already, and just right click on the faucet, it pours out liquid cobalt, and there's an ingot. So it actually cools it in a mold, kind of a cool effect. All right, so you can either make it into ingots and then come over here and craft it on the tables, or you can pour it directly into cast for the specific pieces. But basically, how Tinker's Construct work is you construct the individual pieces of a tool. So to make an axe, you would make an axe head and then a tool rod, and you would put those two together in the tool station, and you would have a Tinker's Construct axe. The big benefit of this, especially when you're getting started and you have limited resources, so say you've got your first 5 iron. With your first 5 iron, you could make a pickaxe and an axe and a shovel out of Tinker's Construct. And then with your next 5 iron, you could repair all those tools. Instead of having to use 3 for each individual pickaxe and then repair them both at half health to get one full health pickaxe, it makes your resources go a lot further. And on top of that, they're better than base tools, and you can upgrade them. So if you put redstone on an iron pickaxe, it will increase the speed that you mine. If you put lapis lazuli on a pickaxe, it will increase the amount of drops that you get per ore. So there's a lot of mods and stuff that you can add to the tools. It's really convenient. The guy that made this mod wrote 3 books that tells you all about the mod, and you'll actually start the game with one of them. So right when you log into the server, you'll immediately be started on Tinker's Construct. Very cool mod. One of my favorites to play with. This and the power armor to me just I love the customization that you can get. And as you can see with our power armor, we both look different. And I think that's a really cool feature. It's just Onelegend can pull it up for you. It's just a little customization menu that allows you to change all the different colors of your armor. Very cool feature, I think. But between those two, you have a huge amount of customization available to how you play Minecraft.
Yeah, it's really awesome. The amount of, I mean, the game is basically, it's thought and basically built around creativity, right? So you get to build and discover new things and be able to create things that look pretty as well as have huge functionality sometimes. And that's the glory that is Minecraft. It allows you to do things that you would never be able to think about in other games, and that's why this game has been and will stay so popular. Now, we're gonna go down here. This is basically the jewel of our basically last 6 or 7 days of building. And what we have here is, well, it's fusion. As you can see down here, we have all our electrolyzers and stuff like that going to power our fusion. I'm going to let Fringe Monkey explain a little bit more about how this all works, but as you can see, this took us, I would say this took us about 2 days focusing entirely on it to build all of the materials that we needed and to get everything together that was required to build everything. And obviously we're going to go over a more detailed video later, but as for a general overview, I'm going to pass it over to Fringe Monkey and let him kind of explain what's going on.
Alright, so this floor that we're standing on now is the factory floor for the fusion reactor. Below us is 120 centrifuges, and then another 24. 120 over here are producing H2. The 24 over here are producing H3, and the electrolyzers on the far wall are producing hydrogen from the water that you see here that the aqueous accumulators are accumulating for us. And all of that processing results in H2 and H3 cells that are fed up into here. The liquid transposers pull them out of the cells, put them into liquid form, and they get fed into those quantum tanks. Those quantum tanks feed some tesseracts that take us downstairs to the actual reactor itself. And in that reactor itself, it takes those 2 liquids and turns them into liquid plasma. And this structure here, this huge pink monstrosity, is right about 1,000 chrome, which if you know anything about Greg Tech and industrial craft, 1,000 chrome is insane. It literally took us 2 days of all the massive processing you saw upstairs to get all the resources that it took to build these things. What's going on here is it's actually not running at the moment, but what would be happening is the 2 things are fed in the back here. As you can see, the yellow and the red feeding into the back. It feeds those 2 liquids in and turns them into liquid plasma. The liquid plasma we in turn directly into energy. There's a plasma generator sitting up here to refeed the reactor with energy. It requires 4,000 a tick to run. And so that's the actual fusion itself. The benefit of this fusion, if we go up a level, you'll see our 7 matter fabricators. And that's the reason you build this monstrosity, really, is these things right here. What they do is they produce UU matter at an insane rate. And UU matter can be turned into anything. Literally, there's a recipe to turn it into diamonds, to turn it into coal, whatever you want. You can turn UU matter into that. And this is 55,000 EU a tick being dumped directly into these matter fabricators to turn it into UU matter, which is a pretty huge accomplishment. It's almost like beating Minecraft yet again, just by getting these matter fabricators running.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Now, if you guys want to have this put in perspective for you, the best solar that you can get produces 55 or 550 a tick, or around there. And so if that'll put it in perspective for you. So 550 a tick when it's sunny out is how much that'll produce, and this produces, just an astronomical amount of power. It's absurd, and the amount
64,000 a tick.
64,000 a tick is exactly. So you guys can understand how ridiculous this really is and how much it took us to set all this up. It was well worth the end product that we get, which is UU, at a ridiculous rate, but what we had to do to get there was astronomical in my opinion, but it was well worth it. And this is going to be another room for exactly the same thing. So we're already planning for the future to have more, which will be more videos that we will show you guys in the future. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up top, and we are going to show you the last little bit that we are very proud of. Alrighty, so let's go. So the next building, this is the library. We'll show you the library real quick. So this is just all the books that you find for Ars Magica. We just have all this stuff kind of stacked up in here. More books. Just kind of showing that off. Alright, so the last building that we are going... Well, you know what? We're going to show you guys the storage buildings real quick. So this is something that our friend Wes over here has built, and his wife has built. These are the storage buildings, and I'm going to let him explain exactly what these do and provide for us. So go ahead.
Alright, so the deep storage units that you saw in the server building were kind of the first iteration of this idea. What this is basically we're going for almost every ID in the game having its own deep storage unit. And above it is a storage monitor to show us how much of each individual item we have. So as you can see over here, we have a ton of dirt, almost a million dirt. And above it is the deep storage unit holding all of that dirt. That way it's not taking up all of that storage that we showed you on the server. It's not taking up those little storage cells. It's actually sitting here in these deep storage units. And we built these buildings just to have a nice way to display all the items that we have on our network. And also there's some functionality here. If you right click on one of these monitors, you actually get a stack of that item and just spits it out at you. Very useful for building. So instead of having to go onto your wireless or whatever, if you're building, you can just come over here and fill up your inventory with whatever it is and go back to what you're building.
Yeah, so really, really cool functionality. Don't have to worry about the server getting full of... Oh, if I can get through this door. There we go. So really cool functionality. As you can see, we have a bunch of these buildings, and yet still more to be made. So the idea of it is really, really awesome. It'll save a lot of space on your servers if you guys want to try something like this. It's really, really cool. It does a huge help. Now, we are going to go to the very last place where we are going to end the video. We're going to go down here. We're going to go to this Mistcraft world. Now, it says Super Flat Quarry World. Now, you may be wondering, what does that mean? Well, obviously, it's because it's a quarry world in which it is super flat. Go figure. So, as you can see, we have a ridiculous amount of quarries going right now. You can't really see it because, obviously, the world is loading in. But as I get higher and higher, you can see the outline of a stupid amount of quarries. We have, I think, about total 12 or 16 quarries going right now. Each of these quarries are powered by one ultimate solar, feeding into an MFSU, into a power bridge. And as you can see, here are these ender chests that we were talking about. This is where the quarries throw all their stuff into and go straight into the server. So basically, we have all this stuff fed up and goes straight into the server. So you guys may be wondering how the heck we got all our stuff. Well, that is how we got it right there. All those quarries fed it directly into the server, and we were able to use it and constantly not have to worry about our stuff. Now, this is kind of the last thing we wanted to show you guys. This has been everything that we've worked on for the past basically about a week or so. And everything that has been up to that week. So we just wanted to show you guys, as well as let you guys know about what's going to be to come. Basically, we are on the Oblivious Monkey server, as Fringe Monkey is the owner and creator of this. And what we are planning to do is to open it to the public. It's basically a whitelisted server. Obviously, he will be going into a little bit more detailed explanation of how it's all going to work. But basically, we are opening it to you guys to allow you guys to come and join us on this great server and to try to get a little bit of interaction with you guys and see if you guys could try to build around what we have and to be able to talk to other people and see what they're doing and all that other stuff. Because playing with other people in Minecraft is so much more fun than playing by yourself, as basically any other video game is. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. It's been an awesome time. I'm going to let Fringe Monkey explain what he wants to explain, but rather than that, I hope you all have an awesome day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to pass it off to Fringe Monkey. I'll see you guys around.
All right, so yeah, just like you said, we're gonna open this up, have a public whitelist server. When you join initially, you're gonna be in the guest rank, and that won't allow you to do a whole lot of anything. You need to either talk to myself or Onelegend in game or via YouTube, and we can promote you up to the member rank, and that'll allow you to build and do everything else. Pretty much it's going to be an anything goes server. There's going to be one absolute rule, which is no stealing. That applies to our stuff and your stuff and everybody's stuff. Anybody steals, they're gone. I guess just that cut and dried. Everything else pretty much going to go. We're going to have some specific areas for PvP. Don't really want people killing each other in their own base and stuff. But like I said, it's an anything goes server. So if that's how you want to play it, I would expect the same in return. The only other thing I want to mention is, you see we have these massive amounts of quarries. We'd prefer that you keep them in Mistcraft worlds. We have Mistcraft installed, not only for that, but for the massive amount that it adds to the world and your ability to play Minecraft. But it also keeps these big, huge holes out of our pretty overworld, so we can build cities and trains and all the stuff that we want to build in the overworld without having to worry about these huge gaping holes that look horrible. But that's about it. We'll put all the information for the server in the description below. We'll be hosting probably a TeamSpeak or whatever for the server as well, and that information will be available in the description. Let us know any ideas you have in the comments below, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys around. Peace!